Thank you very much, Chairman Mike McCall, for your leadership and having this meeting today with such wonderful people. I want to thank the courageous parents and family members here. I'm grateful to be a fellow Afghanistan veteran parent myself. My son, Hunter Taylor Wilson, served for a year in Afghanistan as an engineer, and I'm just so grateful for his service. And we know that the American and allied troops have been successful in keeping Americans safe from terrorist attacks for 22 years. Your families will always be American heroes for the ongoing global war on terrorism. I also identify as a veteran myself of the South Carolina Army National Guard, 218th Brigade, led by General Bob Livingston. During their year-long deployment in Afghanistan, I visited 4 times to learn of their devotion to their Afghan brothers for freedom. Biden's shameful political decision ignored military advice. Mr. McCoy and Mr. Smith, you are right. Biden has no letters he falsely claimed. To the contrary, Biden's political decision is the worst military and foreign policy decision in American history, putting American families at risk worldwide. With this in mind, indeed, Mr. and Ms. Lopez, I too have a son named Hunter, so hey, we together. And I'm just so grateful for his service and what he's has meant to our country. With that in mind, what records and information does the administration have that you would like to see?
Well, I think overall, as far as records go, it would be as I mentioned earlier, the complete investigation. On a more personal note, there's some debate on whether some of Hunter's property was ever recovered. It was mentioned earlier that there's some SD cards and digital media that's perhaps missing from several families. And I've always been curious as to why those items weren't returned to us. I definitely understand national security. I definitely understand the need for intelligence. But once that has been accomplished, those are items that rightfully belong to each of us. So that'd be one thing.
To piggyback on that, we were told that none of his property was located or it was misplaced. Via Instagram messages and pictures posted by the Marines that were there, we found a picture of all our kids' flak vests laying on the ground, discarded and picked through. We found his kill patch months after the Marines had returned. A junior Marine had collected my son's kill patch, and it was given back to us months after he had been laid to rest. So for the military to tell us that their items were discarded or lost, I just can't explain how in the nation that claims to be the best, that they failed to collect our children's belongings, the last of what we have of them is lost.
And indeed, this should be bipartisan, working together for each family of anything that should be recovered. We're happy to all participate. And Mr. Hoover, this should be bipartisan, and I want to join with you. It's not political from my side. I asked 2 years ago for Mr. Biden and Ms. Harris to resign, and I knew at that time that meant that there would be a Democrat succession. And so it's not political. But sadly, we see he's still in office and the consequences worldwide of weakness by America. Additionally, I agree with Ms. Self that with the open southern borders, families are at greater risk today of an additional terrorist attack than ever in history. And the borders should be secured. And I know Mr. Smits too. The American people are at risk. Thank you for alerting us. God bless each of you. I yield back.
Thank you. Mike Waltz is